The Layla Show. Welcome to another week of The Layla Show, where we build a conscious community one conversation at a time. With your host, me, Layla Ziari, coming at you with weekly episodes every Friday featuring guests from all over the world and so many different industries, sharing their stories, experience, tales, laughing, loving, and just vibing out. So, hi everybody! Today we have our guest Holly Hester, and she's a model, artist, and FNL host. For the past few years, she has authored a book called Higher Living, and since has traveled from city to city, motivating and encouraging others at her book signings. Her art can be found at BG Gallery in Santa Monica, and she is a Southerner in California. She continues to love people and enjoys helping and changing the world through her art. So welcome. I'm super excited to have you. I know we tried to do this a couple times, but I'm glad we made it work this time. So yeah, tell us about yourself, like how you got into how like where you're living in Southern California, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I spend my time, I actually base in Texas, but I spend half my time or more than that in Los Angeles because of so many projects that I have going and so many years that I've been there and so much work that I put into it. So yeah, but I'm everywhere. I'm traveling everywhere because of book signings and such, and because of modeling and because of hosting and life coaching and all the hats that I'm practically wearing. But the important thing is to have the hats that actually you can wear on your head and say you wear, so that
Exactly. No, that is so important. I mean, like, because I'm the same. I'm like, I tried to like figure out, like, I was like, let me just like pin a post on Instagram the other day, and I'm like, what do I do? And I was like, um, I like there were so many things. I was like, I don't know which one to say. I'm like, I'm a podcaster. I've written 2 books. I'm like, uh,
yeah,
I sell clothes sometimes, the fashion. I'm like, I do all these things, and then my
yeah.
caption was just like, I'll also take care of your cats because it's just like it's so stupid. It's like I literally do all these things. I have no idea. So I feel like, yeah. So I get that. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Well,
hard to wear
thank you.
all the hats.
Yes, absolutely. It totally is. It totally is. And I respect you as a fellow woman doing that and as a power player doing that and a fellow podcaster and things like that. And congratulations to all the success on your show and things. And thank you for having me on today, Layla. And I love your podcast and
Oh,
I love
thank you.
absolutely adore your voice that you have and the energy that you bring. Yeah, my stories very, just very, very, very simple yet intriguing. I feel like it's kind of been on a big screen my whole life. And, one of those scenarios. So I have overcome many things. A lot of labels that were put on me, like typical, whatever, like overcoming, abuse and things like that. And just, having a strong mother figure and just growing up in a home. My mother, actually, I got my business sense from she and my stepdad, actually, but mostly from her. They flipped homes and things like that, and they
That's
had
amazing.
yeah, so they were entrepreneurs. Yeah, they were landowners. So my first interaction with people were not really within my own neighborhood, Layla. It was very unique. My first interaction with even kids my age, other than my elementary school, and things like that. And I did have a normalcy with kids my own age, but I really got to see because the tenants that my mother had were actually they're small kids too. And so they were kind of less privileged than me, but I that didn't bother me. I still hung out with them.
Right.
They still did their due diligence, and so I got to see the other side of that, if you will. And so
Yeah.
I got to hang around them, and I got to see, like, hey, if you're hanging out with me because I'm the feared landlord's daughter type of scenario. So they didn't approach me because they wanted to. They approached me because they had to. So I wasn't used to that because at my elementary school and such and around my cousins, this wasn't the case. So I kind of grew up in that kind of fishbowl, as in an entrepreneur, a fishbowl of an entrepreneur. And I kind of grew up that way. And so that very much influenced decisions that I made on set, kind of getting into extra work, going from extra work to actually, doing, being more on set full time and actually going the course in producing my own show And it kind of pushed me more into the family aspect, doing more with my family, having people around me at all times, and John just kind of in that protective zone. Because girl, I was raised with it, with a mother did it right. I was raised with a mother did it right, like I hope that others out there are. And I realize that there are others that are not as fortunate as I am, and I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting to transition from an early age from Texas to California, and just kind of delving and just being around entertainment, and just being opened up to the glam world. Because I grew up a church girl. I grew up a church girl like that. And then it was so funny because I didn't like religion. And so this whole Hollywood world opens up to me, and I'm like, whoa. And so it was so vast, and it was so
I'm
radical, both ends of the spectrum. Yes. So that's really my upbringing.
right, that's
In
like
this
it's
piece.
so interesting because it's totally like two separate sides. I mean, I like you. Well, I mean, I grew up on the East Coast too, and I've spent a lot of time in California. But I mean, I'm honestly like right now, I want to move to LA, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm too old to get in that scene, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm like
No,
feeling it's like a
yeah,
calling in my soul that I've always wanted. So that's such like a different. I don't know. It's so different worlds, but I do think like you're really blessed with the family because so many people don't like. I mean, my dad was an entrepreneur growing up, like, but we weren't really close. And then my mom, like, really was a great mother, but she's still working she does not have the entrepreneurial spirit. And I know, like, my family was like, what the fuck are you actually doing? Like, for until recently. It took like a lot of years for them to be like, all right, she's not completely batshit mad. So I feel like I feel like you're really lucky to have that. And I like love
yeah.
that influence. But yeah, so tell us like how you got into the Hollywood world and like what brought you to
Yeah.
California and all that because it's so I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, my brother was actually, I'm not going to give all the credit to myself. So what happened was my brother actually was a model, and he was doing a model like really good. Like he has looks. He's not tall, but he had that model look type of thing. And so they were using him commercially like a lot. And I was in my little shell, in my own little church world, growing up, going from school, going from graduating in schools and stuff like that. And I was kind of minding my own business, but I didn't really have a big social life. And cliche, right? The typical actor never got along in school. I had so much bullying, and so much. So I kind of just said to myself, I had a really protective older sister, who kind of just did her thing, but no one's really going to pick on my little sister type of thing. And so I was
That's
okay. I
funny.
wasn't being, yeah. And if I was picked on, it was behind her back. And so I kind of got, proverbially like up against the wall in that area socially. So I was up against the wall, never really had a lot of conversations. Most of my interactions, I really kind of had to, pull out of people type of thing, because, you're kids. You're also kids, you're still young, even when you're in high school, you're a baby. So
Right.
it was, and people are at different stages of their lives with that. And you kind of have to respect that. Looking back on that now, it definitely helps you when you're a life coach. It definitely helps you when you're a person, and it definitely helps your level of empathy and understanding for
Oh,
people. And
100%.
I love the women in my life for helping me with that kind of conclusion, and building that up. And so, kind of just to tell you, my brother brought me to an audition one day. Well, they liked my look. And so, and my brother was already in that world, but they were like, yeah, the cutest little face, la, 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 and so that happened. And then, of course, oh my God, I go from invisible to visible in that area. And I'm already, and I'm like the baby of my family anyway. So I'm going, my close up, I'm ready, like the whole
I love that
catwalk. And
energy though.
I'm just, my head is blown up, ego blown up now at this moment. Somebody noticed me. Oh my God, it's so
Yeah.
beautiful. So yeah, so that whole thing happened. And so, more doors open. I start writing, I start script writing. I know, really radical, right? They want me for modeling. They're talking about having me for, like, a kid, I Spy for kids, the movie, the sequel, and over there. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal. If they don't deliver, I'm gonna deliver. I'm gonna write a script for myself, and then I'm gonna deliver on this. where was I in my head to think like that, Layla, right? So here I
I
am, I'm
low
writing a
key
script.
love, like,
Yeah,
I love the confidence, I love the little bit of delusion, because I feel that way still, like, I'm not over it, I'm like, "I can do that," you know?
yeah,
It's a lot harder. I mean, every time I start, I'm like, "Maybe not," but, we gotta give
yes,
ourselves a little bit of deluded confidence
yes.
sometimes.
Yeah, I say that too. I say that too. Why not?
I
Why not, man?
just a little. I mean, we have to balance it, but I genuinely don't think I would have done anything in my life without that little bit of deluded confidence. Like,
Yeah,
nothing in my life I would have ever done,
hands down,
truly.
hands down, hands down. So yes, I love that. So glad we're on the same page there because that kind of helped to prelude to this next chapter. We're in LA. We're taking acting classes. We're in front of directors. We're in front of Hillary Duff's manager one minute. We're in front of you know all these people on set, and then we find out, oh, their acting coach. Oh, you're taking from their acting coach. Whenever we kind of didn't put two and two together, we just kind of signed up for it. Then we're in people's homes, acting coaches' homes who have, Coach Cameron Diaz, the likes of, and other things like that, and everything. It was just so surreal. Next thing you know, I'm on set as an extra, and I go from extra to creating my own family's projects because that's what we're advised to do. And then stuff just doors begin to open, and then the next thing you know, we're looking back, and years later, the door opened because of that and stuff. And I'm in front of the likes of Jamie Lynn Spears and Miley Cyrus, and when these Disney shows were taking off and everything, and you got to really watch. And then HBO with Bill Paxton, and I'm thinking, pinch me now. This is just a great world. And what I didn't know at the time, that what you gotta be careful. You have to be careful. You have to stay guarded. You have to really focus. I was told to really focus, continue to take notes, for your craft, and you never know what that might take you. And people remember faces, and I loved that realization. I love just growing and things like that. And so long story short, my family and I, we got into our own type of script in production. We created our own pilot that got us in the doors with other writers that we are still connected with to this day. And just connections and directors, and I didn't know this, but because my brother did modeling, I can now pursue modeling, and in doing that, and just doors kind of just began to open from there on. Now it's, algorithm is a really powerful word in that aspect, and remembering people's names, it's, I'm trying to bring that back as far as that. But I love people, and I hope that is shown as far as that goes. And I'm sure you can relate to that because you seem like the same type of energy level like that. It's just very real to remember names. It's very real to, it's not underrated to be kind to people, to
No,
remember
it
the
is
people who are
so important to do that, and I mean, like, I genuinely struggle really hard with names because when I am out and about, I meet but I never forget a face, and I do really try, though. I try to, like but I'll never forget a name if I have a conversation with you, like, if we talk about something, like, we actually, like, connect, never forget. But I do think that, like, connection is super important, and I like you, I mean, like, I have 2 sides, like, I either wanna be around people or I wanna be completely alone and fuck off, and I won't answer my phone and, like, goodbye, world. But, like but I really value, like, human connection just like you, and I just think that's, like, so important, and yeah, and I mean, but also protecting yourself, like, you do, because when you are in any industry, just around people, like, as much as you are, I am, or whatever, you have to be able to, like, "Okay, yeah, be careful," like, especially in that
yeah,
world, like, be careful, know your boundaries, like, know when to know when to not give everything, or, like, when to
yeah,
protect yourself, and I mean,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
and I do think
yes.
that's really important, especially, like, when you're young, like, you don't know that, you know?
No, no, no. You really don't know anything. You really don't
No.
know anything. And so you just, you say yes to everything. You just can't do that. And the older you get, the more you realize you can't do that. And
I
you have
say
to
no
say
to
no
so many things at
sometimes.
this point. I'm just like, "No. No.
And it
Absolutely
feels
not."
so good.
It feels so good. I'm like, I do say yes a lot too, but I'm like, I think about those things. I'm not
I
just like
know
I mean, sometimes I impulsively say yes and then I'll think about it and be like, I need to write back and say so sorry. Just kidding. I was just wrapped up in the moment because I'm like a moment girl. I'm like, I will get that rush of like sensation and feeling and just be like, I will go anywhere with this. And then I like take a moment
Yes,
and back down to
yes.
reality and I'm like, no,
It sounded good at the time. Yeah,
great
yeah,
until I was like, no,
yeah.
no.
So I think we're talking about, yeah, it's a key thing. It's a key thing, and what you're emphasizing is a key thing. And it's really a theme, and it's so important in any aspect when you want to be a success, and it's for your mental health, which is exactly what kind of thrust me into years later life coaching, which I never thought I would get into.
Right.
But it's one of those mental health things. And a lot of people tell me, oh, you don't have to go to therapy, but you can be a life coach. And I don't know who people like that are, but it is completely, it's a horrible bit of advice. You have to be okay yourself, so you can trickle that energy down to someone else, so you can give them a success,
A hundred
and
percent.
just, yeah, release them of things. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah, how did you get into life coaching and how like
So yeah, so I basically, it was at church. I met many people, and one of them happened to do similar to what I was doing, and I they kind of recommended that. And so it's not just them. It was honestly women that kept saying to me, I started podcasting years back, like 5 or more years back. And I did not know this, but a connection made actually recommended someone, a female, who was in a really bad place in her life. She was actually, and if I can just say this right now, because I don't know what I can say on your
you
podcast or
can
not, but
say
she was
literally
in.
anything.
Okay,
There's absolutely no filter on here.
so she was in prostitution,
Mhm.
and she told me, in years and years, and she said, you know what, I just feel hope. I just feel hope when listening to you. I just feel hope. So I changed careers. I went from that to leaning on that to getting 3 jobs because I got pregnant. But unfortunately, I got pregnant. But fortunately, he's the best thing that ever happened to me. He's 2 years old now. I got past the battle and really, I did want to be a mom, but I did not like who the dad was. And
Right.
so I strengthened, and I fought back on that battle, and I'm a great mother today, and I shifted careers, and I'm in the best place ever. And I heard this from a mutual, and I just kind of kept going because it's stories like that. And so that kind of encouraged, how the funnel
Oh
always goes
yeah.
down that lane. And so that's where the
I
book
love the
started.
funnel.
Yeah, yeah, the fun, exactly. The light,
Yeah,
the
it's like
silver
you like
lining, as
open the
they
door
say,
to the rabbit
was,
hole and you can't help but fucking follow it at that point. Like
you
you
can't,
have to.
absolutely not. Right, exactly, exactly. So
That's beautiful though. Oh, sorry, there's a fly. A fly
it's
attacking.
okay, it's okay,
But yeah,
it's
I
okay.
think that's interesting because I mean I feel like we have a lot of similarities. It's just in like I write, you write, and then I do think it's interesting like the evolution of that. I also have a life coaching business, like, but I started it and then I was like I don't know if I'm actually like ready to do this. So I just like kind of put it back.
Yes,
I'm like it's there if I like if somebody really needs it, but like I don't know. I just felt like there's other things to pursue. But I just think it's interesting how one path always leads to like, you know what I mean? One door
yes.
opens and you just go and you go and you go and like just doing so many different things. So how did like so you got the life coaching? Was this before or after you wrote your book? Like how did this book come to life?
So I did it in kind of the same time frame. It
Okay.
was about the demand of the people. When they say that people really make an impact, they do, on you. And so it was kind of just in that way of things. Right around the time of hearing people's life stories, and the change in that, and hearing testimonies, as my world and where I come from say, you really can't ignore that. And I had been under so many, teachings and stuff like that. And I had been under so much inspiration, had sat under so many things like that. And I had kind of grown up in that way, and through church and things like that, of way of saying, pay attention to those type of things. And
Right.
so really, it manifested through that. Like, it just really, that's where the book, that's where it started. I was already creating my show, things like that. And that's where that, there was a shift there. There really was a shift. And I realized, and I was holding those kind of moments more preciously. And so that's really what one of my chapters in my book called, and it's called Blueprints. And I won't give away the full chapter, but that's really what it's about many chapters in my book are about transformation and shift and thing,
Right.
and just kind of starting on things and believing that you can start. And it's about perspective. And it's really about a mindset, because a mentality is thinking that you can't achieve things. A mentality is really what that girl was going through. You thinking that she couldn't raise a son, thinking that she couldn't, that she had to pick the job that paid a lot of money but made her feel like crap every night,
Right.
versus working three jobs and feeling better about herself. I mean, just start there. And that's a mentality versus a mindset. And a mindset is really many chapters that inspire my book.
I definitely have to read it. I'm like I'm super excited to read it and all that. But I mean, I think that's so important because it really is. It's mindset is everything, and it's like, I mean, you have to be able to, get out of that. And it is. It really is one step at a time, one thing at a time. Like, you can't. There is no you can't. Like we are so limitless. And, I
Yes.
hear it all the time from people and even myself, and I have to talk myself out of that constantly, like, or sometimes I just flow with it. Sometimes I'm good for months on end. And then, other times I sit here and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm, you know what you want, so go do it. And it's like, when we know what we want, we have to pursue that. And it's like, I was talking to my
Yes.
cousin last night and she's like, I don't want to work anymore like how I'm working. And I'm like, so stop. She's like, but the money. I'm like, honey, but the money comes and the more like you're never gonna like you don't get out of that mindset.
Yes.
You get out of the like
Yes.
you're not like, yes, of course. Where's the money gonna come from? You don't fucking know right now. But guess what? You're not gonna not let it come. Like there's no universe where we like level down lifestylely. And it's like that's what I always tell
Yes.
people. They're like, but I'm accustomed to a lifestyle. And it's like when you're accustomed to a lifestyle, you're gonna get it again, if not better.
Yes.
But then you're
Yes.
gonna have more peace of mind. But it's like, you know what? The bills are gonna get paid. Like the things are so yeah,
Yes.
it's all mindset. And it's like we all deserve to
Ye
be living in that life and like that peace and that contentment with whatever we're doing.
And that's you're absolutely right. And the funny thing is, a lot of people ask me, what is the difference in mentality and mindset? I'm kind of digging what you're saying, but I kind of need to know that first before I listen to your message and what you're about, which I like, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so I say a mindset versus mentality. Mentality is unprogressive. A mindset is progressive. There's not much of a difference, but when you're raised like I was, when you're raised like you were, when
Mhm.
you're raised the kind of person who is you're kind of raised a fish out of your own a fish out of water,
Oh,
a person
100%.
that's yeah, no, a person out of your own environment, like you and I are. Let's just take the demonstration of that. We're type of people that stand out. We're not we're not adapting in the water that we're that
No.
exactly. Do you know where I'm kind of going with that? The
100%.
water's not working. It's a bit salty. It's lake water. We're used to ocean water type of thing, and
Yeah.
so we've kind of had to adapt it into and let until we can take matters into our own hands. And
Right.
so that's those things like that. When mentality, let's just say mentality comes to us, fish out of our own water, to us, we reject it and we go, ah, we it's kind of distasteful in our mouths. And so that's really the difference in mentality and mindset.
Right.
It's how we perceive things and how we take them into our own hands and how we fight back. And I love what you're saying in that. So
I love what you're
yeah.
saying in that and that like the difference because
Hmm.
I mean, and it helps differentiate because, we want to
Yes.
put mindset in like a positive light because,
Yes.
we have negative connotations associated with words and stuff. And we don't want to associate mindset with any of the negative things that we see about ourselves. We
Yes.
need to like let that shift us into the next mindset and like, and it's all baby steps. So, I mean, like, nobody is
Oh
expected to
yeah.
completely like derail their existence overnight and like live in sunshine and
Yeah.
Timberland. But like you can
No,
though. I'm pretty you can, but like, it you
I
can.
love it.
You can
Yes.
though, but I mean
Yes.
not everybody's ready for that. So
No, yeah, it's totally. I love what you're saying. It is baby steps. I'm not negating that. It is
no,
baby
you
steps,
told
and
yeah.
Yeah, and a mindset, it's a mind, your mind is set on something. Let's break that down. Your mind
Right.
is set on something, but your mind can't just be set on something, as everyone knows it takes 30 days or more to change a habit. So this
Right.
is not overnight. Oh my gosh, that is one of the revolutionary mistakes that
It
people make, and
really
then they
is.
judge themselves.
Like,
Yes.
there's so much judgment associated with, I mean, I just listen to, like, even my best friends talk, like, everything they say almost out of their mouth is like, and like, they're doing really good in their lives and they are like
Yeah.
working towards their dreams. The people I hang out with are really like, it obviously they're not bums or any, what I mean? They're doing like their passion, but like
Yeah.
the way these ladies talk to themselves or about themselves, I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Do you hear the judgment pouring off of you? Yet, like, I could get away with murder, and you would be like, I could literally go murder somebody, and you'd be like, "Good job, Layla. I support you." But it's like, listen to how you talk to yourself, though. It's
Self.
like you're upset that like you don't have the answers to everything, and it is. There's this,
Yeah.
and it is. It's like there's so much judgment associated with like personal success and growth and development because we're so goddamn hard on ourselves when we don't give ourselves that 30 days and we don't give ourselves any fucking grace. We're like, we don't
Yeah.
give ourselves any time to adapt. We're like, and I get it. We want it now. We want the world. We want it now. I fucking get it. Me too. But it's like, it's
Right.
gets
Right.
far
And
without.
And I love what you're saying in that. And the reason this is because 65% of people, 60 to 75% of people actually only fulfill a promise because somebody else told them to. So I
Right.
love what you're saying right now. And that kind of brings it up to the whole, do I chase my dreams? Do I not? Let's go to the mother, to the housewife that's, with herself right now. She's got so many talents. She plays the piano every day. She's been playing for years. Somebody told her to do YouTube. She gets to, fast forward 5 years later, she gets to, someone notices her, a door it might just open for her, but guess what? She is now, she's a mother. She's the mother and all that. So she juggles it. So she's got to mother, she's got to housewife, her husband does the working, but how is she going to get the breakthrough? How is she going to get that extra? You know what I'm saying? It's those kind of simple stories, and
Yeah.
the people that kind of, oh, I only did this because somebody else, and then they kind of go through that. And I love when they go through that. Let's hope they go through that, but most cases the mentality is they talk themselves out, Layla, and I love what you're saying.
Oh, the talking yourself out is just nuts. And I find myself doing that in certain regards too. And it's like, I mean, Jesus. And I'm like, I'm really like one of those rare breeded people who I've decided in the middle of the night to move to another country tomorrow and just say fuck everything. So it's like, I don't have a lot of reservations when it comes to decisions in my life. But yet, like, I still talk myself out of like publishing, like finishing a fucking book. Like, Layla, you'll move to France, pack up your entire fucking life, leave everything behind, but you can't sit down and write a couple chapters of a book today? Are you fucking nuts? Like, what? It's
and,
just,
and, and we're emotionally reactive, though. We're emotionally reacting, and we're, what that is kind of an environment rejection. And it's sort of like a, do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You're not
100%.
wrong. You're changing, and yeah, you're changing your environment. You're protecting yourself, but
Right.
yet when it's something that you need to do, and a need, that need kind of has to be greater. If someone paid you $100 to sit down and do it, or more, or exactly what you needed, you'd be Johnny on the spot to do that. Do you know what I'm
100%.
saying? Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's just
And
break it down like that,
that's so I
Yeah.
like that perspective shift because it's so true. It's like, I don't know, we all
Hmm.
have so many things we want to do or accomplish, and it's
Right.
we talk ourselves out of it because of time, because of this, because of that.
Yes. Yes.
As human beings, we struggle to prioritize the time in a day. And
Right.
it's hard. Like you said, the mother who's a housewife who also is great at the piano. It's like there is a lot of mindfulness that goes into like time management of all those things because you
Yes.
really can do it all. And I mean, like, there are some days I wake up and I look at myself after and I'm like, how did you do all like you made time to be happy,
Yeah.
you made time to exercise, you made time to cook, and you made time to create, and you made some money. Like, how did but like did I repeat that every day? No, 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 no. But the fact that I have done it a lot especially more recently, I'm like, wow, this is actually not as hard. But it is because you know what? I removed the thought out of it. And that is what fucks up most people is just the overthinking and the
Yes,
self-doubting
yes.
and just the convoluted confusion. And we don't believe in ourselves as human beings enough. It's true. Because like you said, the girl who doesn't do it until she's told she can. It's like,
Mhm,
well, if we just like believed in ourselves a little more and listened to ourselves, then ourselves would tell us that we
mhm.
can, but
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
want us
Yeah,
to.
no, yes, it's true. And our incentive is powerful. You know,
Yeah,
what drives us every single day. And, let's just say the single father, who's kind of barely making ends meet type of thing. Well, his driving force is his children and just putting food on the table because of his obligations. So it really is, you have, because he just wants to be the best father he can because let's just say he's seen a poor one, or it could go into the other end of the spectrum. Maybe he's seen a great one, and that's the kind of voice in his head that's saying, "Get up, get up, get up," even though it's 4:30 in the morning, and you've got like whatever the shift, blah 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 blah. Get
right.
up, still get up. So he gets up, and there's that incentive, and so it's powerful to pay attention to the voices you're listening to, and it's also powerful to pay attention to the dopamine release and what chemicals in your
100%.
brain. And yeah, so nobody's wrong in what they're doing. They just need
No.
to it's about honing in
I was just
specifically on
about to
what you
say
want.
holding it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're of the
Exactly.
same mind at the moment. So is this like
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
teach in life coaching then? Like how to hone in and how to mindset? Is that like what your niche is, as they say? Because everybody has a different niche in life coaching. I mean, there's so many life coaches out there and everybody's doing something different.
Absolutely. Well, mine is really a happiness relationships coach type of thing. I'm more sitting on the sidelines. If someone needs to find a new level of happiness, if somebody needs to strengthen their relationships, and I'd like to say my relationships are great. Now, here's the thing: there's always time to work at them. Am I going to say they're great? Yes, but today I could say they're great, and then
And
someone
tomorrow
something
they
hit me
yeah,
left field. It could be crap. So it's really a day to day,
100%.
it's an hour by hour basis. Yeah, so they take work. Everything takes work. And so, in that saying, I'm really more your coach. You're the athlete. If you want happiness, if you want greater relationships, say, your wife is driving you nuts. Or let's just say your husband's driving you nuts and you're an athlete on the field and you're at the bottom. You hate each other every day and you want to get to the top of at least communicate like you met each other again. I'm more of sitting on the sidelines with my helmet and with my board that I've the strategy of the game written down. And I'm there to take you from the middle of the field to the goal line and not say a word to you until that happens. That's my goal. And if I haven't
I
fulfilled
love
that as a life coach, it's people have it all wrong as far as that goes. I'd like to say that I do it in that way. I'm not gonna say I do it right, but I hope I do. So
I think it sounds right. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, you just broke it down in such a simple way. And I love that because honestly,
yeah,
that's how we all should be looking at it. You are a coach. Like, you're not the team player. I mean, they are. You
yes,
know what I mean? You're there to
yes,
guide them. And I love just
yes.
that reference because I don't know, I do think, sometimes people take that and like they're in charge and they're like you're just giving the tools and like guidance and you're strapping them up when they injure themselves and you might make some plays, but they're the player. Like they're the one play I love.
Hmm.
I love how you I don't know, I just love how you worded that and I do, but I just think I mean relationship building and maintaining is the most important thing that we can ever do. I mean, I don't know how to survive without the people close with me in my life. Like they're my support system. They're who I lean on, you know what I mean? But you do have to nurture those relationships and it takes work, and like
Absolutely.
you said, it's not like today could be great, tomorrow, like, no, because it really is that it
It's just the reality.
it so quickly twists and turns and falls apart, if you don't, like,
And it's
give
just
them
like,
what they
yeah,
need, and it's
yeah.
a lot of fucking work, I mean, that's why I'm gonna personally hopefully be single for the rest of my life, I don't know, like, I don't 'cause, like, maintaining my friendships is, like, enough for me. I'm like and I value the women in my life more than anything in the world that I ever could, It's like, I'll ride with that forever, but, that's a lot of work in and of itself to take care of me and that, like, I don't know, we don't need to add a man to the mix, that's just fucking asking for trouble.
I love it, and I love what you said. You said, about just being settled. You said about being just satisfied there. That is really such a trigger word too. That's one of the things that in the techniques that I use in life coaching and in the other things that I do and explain people and in my book signings, people ask me a whole lot of questions. They hone it all up. They pin it all up for like it's inside of them, and at my book signing, and I'm like, yeah, boom. Here are your questions. Shake my hand. I'm done. I got your book. You signed it for me. I'm done. We're go. So it's just weird. So, but it's okay. But anyway, so you said satisfied. I love that term because when you're young, it's I gotta do this. I gotta, and then and you're on such a quickening. You feel like you're a hamster, rat race, like and
Totally.
it ruins so many people, and you crash and burn, and so many people like, oh, I don't need a life coach, I have a therapist, or I don't need this, I need that, or if I'd have just had this when I was younger, I'd have made so many mistakes. No, you'd have still made them
Yeah,
because of your driving
exactly.
force. I like to show you how you did that, but let it go because they're like, oh, you mean I still would have done that wrongly? You still would
Yeah,
have done it your way. You didn't do wrong or right. It's called being human. It's called
right.
maneuvering. Let it go. So I love that you said that.
No, I love that you say that too, because it's so I mean, it's so true. I mean, like, no, we're never gonna not make mistakes. Like, nobody's fucking perfect, and like, mistakes are not like they're not that they're not a horrible thing. It's part of being human. Like to go through
Yes.
trials and tribulations. We're not if we weren't supposed to, then we would have been born with all this knowledge and perfection as it is. Like we're
Yes.
born at like perfectly as we are, but it's like what would be the fun of that? The fun in the journey is figuring it out, and, like, I just don't think
Yes.
we have to be so hard on ourselves because
No.
we fall down and we do make mistakes, like, yes, and, like, the goal, obviously, as we get older and more wise, like, is to make it easier on on ourselves so that we don't
Yes.
fall as hard as we did or, like, not when that falls apart, our whole life doesn't explode, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
To deal with it with
Absolutely.
more grace, but it's, like, not gonna ever stop. I'm never gonna be like I mean, I'll be 90 years old still making fucking mistakes, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's called life, and the problem is we're living in such a day and age of narcissism, and it's not the narcissism that's a problem because narcissism has been a timeless, area, and every person has a family member or someone close to them that is a narcissist. That's why
Oh,
there's even books on narcissism,
oh,
and
yeah.
so it's not the narcissism that's a problem. It's being a keyboard warrior with your narcissism, and that is what
Like,
has
goddamn
pinched.
keyboard warriors, I can't, like, don't you have
Yes.
anything better to do with your life?
And it's the problem of that, and it's the manifestation, a result of that has just troubled so many and crashed them.
Mm,
And so I feel like there needs to be a wake up, and I feel like we all just kind of need to embrace that and just kind of love each other and bring back the human interaction of that so that we can give each other more breaks.
100%, because we really do, we all need more I mean, so many of these things just stem from not having, like, enough compassion in our lives and
Yes.
understanding, and, I mean, I think we all truly, like, need more compassion and understanding, like, acceptance, like,
100.
we don't have to agree on everything, and, like, that's something it's so important. It is so easy to just be cordial and kind and loving. You don't have to agree with everybody. Like we don't. We like that's what makes us special that we don't agree. I don't want to fucking agree with anybody at all. Like not anybody, but everybody. Like that would be a boring world. Like I value but there you can just value other people's beliefs and opinions and all of that without being and have your own without being an asshole and still be accepting because like truly that's what we all need, more love and understanding.
Absolutely.
I think. So also tell us about your art because I didn't ask you at all about like what kind of art you make and these
Yes, so I get that from my ancestry. My grandmother, my great grandmother, yeah, she was an artist. She was very creative. She was in Broadway and things like that. I don't know how far in Broadway she went. I think she went pretty up there. And I think she did it. I don't know how long of a time frame, but she was one of those. I can paint it, I can be it, I can la 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 flaunt it. So,
I
she was
love it.
super creative, super East, coaster. Actually, I think she spent that time in the East Coast, but she was Pennsylvania. And so, she wasn't Southern like my mother was. Certain women are in my life are from different backgrounds, and that always fascinated me growing up. And so I kind of got that. it actually came from creativity too, because of a lot of things got passed down because of a lot of abilities. And so I love art. I can do many things: drawing, sketching. I'm an acrylic, and hope to be an oil very soon. I'm just, the only
Oil's
reason is it's
hard.
too messy. It's too messy.
It's so
It's too
messy. I've painted with
Yes.
acrylics all my life, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna start oils because I'll feel more whatever the fuck I told
Important.
myself." Yeah,
Yeah,
I felt like, "Oh,
important.
yeah." I was like, "I don't have the fucking patience for this shit to dry," and also, like, I just wanna mix and keep going, like, the way my
Yeah.
brain thinks, like, impulsivity, like, hit with, inspiration. I need acrylics. I need the pain to
Yes.
go away. Yeah.
Yes. So I love it. And so it's always kind of been released to me. I've been sketching for a long time. I kind of transferred to artwork.
Okay.
And I've been doing it for a few years now. And I painted a Casa Blanca because I always love old Hollywood, and that's always
I love old
inspired.
Hollywood with all my
Yes, Humphrey Bogart and
yeah.
Ingrid, and I saw that, and I saw them, yeah, and so I just painted it, and a gallery loved it and accepted it. BG Gallery in Santa Monica, huge shout out to them. I loved that I can partner with them. I'm going to be displaying my artwork in New York and many other places too. So I love it. I love that people can see my soul. I always say I also teach it too, and I have a lot of customers that actually portrait. They prefer a portrait painting of themselves. I know a lot of people that want a painting of themselves. They don't want it of their pets. I mean, they want it of their pets, but they of all the things to paint, the
See, I
destinations they
wanted of
pick
Ingrid
them all
Bergman
out.
and Humphrey Bogart, but I mean, I
Yeah.
digress.
Exactly. And so yeah, so they like that, and the old Hollywood thing really is just bringing it back, and it's a new wave, and I
I
love
love
it. I
it.
love that
Like
people have taste. You're bringing taste back
the
in
first,
art.
you'll love this. The first portrait of anyone I ever painted was Marlena Dietrich. So Olivia by and by.
Oh,
So,
there
and
you
then I
go.
tried to do like, and then I got so irritated trying to paint Gary Cooper that I just like tossed in the fucking book. I was like, I can't get this man's face. I'm fucking over.
You will lose sleep over it. That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Drove me
It's
nuts.
it's a
Drove me
you
nuts. 'Cause
know.
one of my friends picked up like my sketchbook and there was an unfinished like portrait of Jimmy Stewart and she was like, "I love this." And I was like, "It's
Oh,
trash. Didn't you see what the fuck I did to Jimmy's nose?" And she's like, "I love it. I'm putting it on the wall." I'm like, "All right.
oh,
If
that's a
you think
really you have a really good friend. You have a really good friend, girl. Yeah, it's all about that forgiving energy there. Right. Yeah. Keep
I
going.
I love that. Yeah. Love old
Yeah.
Hollywood though. Obsessed, absolutely
Mhm.
obsessed. So yeah, like like we were talking about before, surround yourself with inspirations. I wake up, I have a wall in my bedroom and it's all like my favorite old Hollywood stars, like their portraits and like a collage wall. My friend came into my house the other day and they're like, I think it's really toxic to wake up with people. You should wake up to nature instead. I was like, what do you mean? When I wake up and I look up and I see Charlie Chaplin on my wall, like I'm ready to start the day inspired. Like those are the muses. Like of course I want to wake up to my muse. Like I can go outside and see the ocean. I don't need it on my wall. Like let me have my walls filled with like inspirational people. And he's like, there's too many women on your wall because like my whole wall is like old Vogue like magazine covers and stuff. Like yeah, that's what I want to wake up to
Yeah,
inspired.
yeah.
But
What what people don't realize about when you wake up is you could be in a really great state. So you should really wake up early in the morning and start with the gratitude thing. There's a certain technique to waking up, and a lot of people actually, the reason why they're wanting a shift in their lives is because when they wake up, they don't maybe wake up in the proper timing, because when you wake up really early, there's like a scientific thing where you're still in your dream state, and
yeah.
so you can remember things and you can get inspired from your what you remember in your dream state, and then there's gratitude on top of that, so you can put yourself automatically, because of the decision to do that, in a greater mood already. Anyway,
No,
it's
I
all a part of
100% agree, and I think, like,
Mhm.
I think I had a really hard last 6 months of my life where I just decided not to be myself at all, like, with what I was doing, like, in my life, like, not living by how I've always lived, And one of the things I stopped doing was like setting my morning up correctly. And I was like,
Yeah.
girl, of course you were miserable, but I was like, you know what? Let's just try something else for a change. Like, let's try not to be so like myself. Like, what the fuck? Of course, like that didn't work. Like, of course you
Yeah.
just didn't have a good time. Like, you just defied everything that's worked. Like, of course there were adjustments, but there was a lot of things that didn't work for me when I moved to like Europe
Right.
and like who I was around. So I just felt like being really dramatic when I like reset my life. And I was like, but there was so much of it that did work, which was like my mornings and how I act and how I act as if everything's possible. And it's like, well, I lost some of that and I lost the morning things. And I saw like such a
Mhm.
change in my life, not for the positive, you know? Like, I was like, no, I can just sleep later now. It's like, well, then when you sleep, like the thing is sleep however the fuck late you want. But like the thing is the later I would sleep, the less I would feel like I would have to get up and just start without like giving myself that
Mhm.
grace to reset the morning
Mhm.
because that's like the most fundamental important thing. I don't want to start the day without, like some gratitude or like some qigong or some like peaceful meditative movement. If I don't have that, like nobody wants to be around me on that day because I'm probably not that nice. you gotta.
Yeah. 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 True. Very true. Yeah.
So I think gratitude's super duper important. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So what is your gratitude practice of the morning consist of?
Okay, so I wake up and as you say, I'm a church girl. I'll maybe listen to some, music, sort of like easy listening, Christian, the category of Christian music, a lot of stuff, can I say I'm an old school girl? I do not listen to 70s things. I'm more of a rave kind of,
I love it.
fast
She's like, let's go,
music
dance,
type of,
dance, dance.
yeah, let's go. I'm dancer. I'm a dancer. I'm a jump up and down. That's how I
I
get my
feel it.
morning started.
I feel it.
Yes. But I'm an ambivert. So there's got to be some relaxation with some coffee. You can't come at me, but I can come at you type of,
Right.
type
I
of,
agree. Oh my
so,
God. I 100% get it.
so yeah. So yeah, that just remembering that you're thankful, but also remembering, hey, there's a goal today, kind of setting your goals, but also laughing. A lot of people just stay inward, and that's really, really a mistake. Is to
No.
stay inward, and it's great to add gratitude. It's great to listen to worship music, that kind of thing. But it's also not cool to just kind of stay inward. You have to be like, you have to laugh. You have to let
Laughing
things
is the
lift. You
best
have
thing
to
in the
be
world.
okay. Yeah,
Like
yeah, it is.
I've been
So,
laughing this whole time. I never fucking stop laughing. Some people have said like we can't talk to Layla because we think like her voice just comes out in laughter and she's always laughing and it's obnoxious. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. Like
deal.
it's just who I am. Like I don't know. I
Yeah,
laugh all the
love it.
fucking time. Like
Love it. Love it. Yeah.
I love your morning routine and all of that. And I don't know. I think it's so important. And
Oh,
yeah, so you're on book tour right now, correct? And
yes.
keep going
Yes.
on that. So you said
Yes.
to me earlier before we started recording that your next is in Las Vegas. So when is that
Yes.
coming up?
But I'm working on the dates of that. It's gonna be probably 26-ish type of thing. So yeah, I will definitely post that as far as that goes on Instagram and
Yeah,
all social media outlets. Yeah, I'm not one of those ghosters for people. If you reach out to me, I'm accessible. I'm not easily accessible, but I'm accessible type of thing.
right, right,
So
right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I try to stay on those things. Yeah,
Accessibility
yeah.
is important. Although like when you got like a lot of people, obviously
Yes.
you have to
Yes.
right now I'm still so goddamn small that like I have no choice but to be accessible as fuck. I have no chance. You can reach me. I mean, I might not answer for a couple days, but you can reach me. But that's awesome. I mean, I want everyone to come see you on tour and like what's that like? What's a book tour like before we go? I'm just so curious because I hope to be on one day.
It's craziness, and that actually, that's a very humbling question. It's just a whole bunch of craziness. It's love. It's really kind of growth, because you know your audience, and you really hope you reach your audience. So it's in-person interaction. Best way I can say, interaction, knowledge about your book, and just kind of growth, and the path. and that's really what it's about. For me, it was so much fun. It's been so much fun getting to know people in that aspect of it. I wouldn't take it back for anything. I'm excited for my next book launch, which is going to be very soon. When I finish my book, it's the sequel to that, and it's
Oh,
going to go a little deeper into things. It's going to
okay.
go a little deeper into my story, what a
Yes,
little bit
we
more of what I've
love
been
that.
through.
I
It's more
know.
of a ride. Buckle up on that roller coaster.
Okay, that I'm super
Yeah.
excited for that one because I mean, a lot of us write. I mean, not us. I've never fucking done it. I write poetry books and I'm writing a literal comedy about all the shitty situations in my life book right now because might as well laugh about it. My mom's like, "You tell these stories with such an air." I'm like, "Fine, I'll do it. I'll be funny." But I do love like cuz I mean, there's a lot of self-help books and stuff that there's not like personal like your personal story isn't so per se interwoven in that, and I think making it more personal is kind of exciting because it helps everybody connect to you deeper, and
Hmm.
I think sharing stories is so important, and especially when you're in like the coaching business and stuff because I
Hmm.
just see so many life coaches who have gone through so much, but then when they get to
Much.
the point where they're ready to share it with others, they kind of retreat back and they don't share their personal stories so much, and it's just like I think just that relatability because
Yeah.
when you're working with someone like that, I wanna know that you, like, know what I've been through, you know what I mean? I wanna know that, like, our stories align in some way that, like,
Hmm.
you didn't just one day be born out of the womb with this enlightenment and, like, this ability, like, I love that, and I think that's so important. So wait, what's this
Yeah.
book gonna be
Yeah.
called?
It's well, it's Higher Living, so the sequel to that, and stay tuned. I
Okay,
can't reveal too much
okay,
about it because the title is actually prelude to more of what goes on, and
okay.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be very exciting. It's gonna
I'm
be,
super
yeah,
excited
yeah.
for you.
It's a different side of Holly. It's a different side.
I'm so excited. I love that we're seeing your layers on all these multitudes of
Mhm.
sides and you got your art and I love everything you're doing and yeah, I mean, I also see you're at Fashion Week is coming up.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
your hands
yeah.
are in all the clays and I love that for you. I love your energy and
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate you coming on here and I've loved talking to you. And yeah, do you want to leave our viewers with like some parting words of wisdom with Holly?
Absolutely, absolutely. Eleanor Roosevelt said it the best. No one can take the only person that can take your crown is you. So we all have crowns as women, and you give off that very, that believe in yourself type of thing, which is what other women should actually listen to you for. And you wear your crowns well. You do have a crown, and wear it wonderfully. And that's what I can think of. Other than that, you can always follow me at Higher Living Holly. Yeah, I do have Facebook. I do have all platforms. You can also catch me on the Barnes and Noble website. You can buy my book. I will definitely electronic sign for you or physically in person sign up for you to the best of my ability. You can catch my artwork. Hopefully, you're at one of my art shows in the future. And I would love to just meet you. And I love you. And I love to shake your hand. And
Oh,
it's been a blessing to be on
well,
Layla's
get
show.
ready.
Please
I'm moving to
follow
Santa
her.
Monica in 6 months, so we'll have to get together in LA. So
There we go. There
there
we go. I love it. Yeah. So follow her, everyone. You can catch me where you can catch me, but follow her
we
too.
go.
She's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Mwah.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you everyone for listening to another week of The Layla Show. The Layla Show.